Wednesday morning, it is the Robin Galloway Breakfast Show live across Scotland. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are in the presence of greatness because a couple of my heroes from the best band ever to come out of Scotland, Simple Minds, is Charlie Burchill and Jim Kerr. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you. Thank you.
Now, I'm going to try and conduct this without being too sycophantic, but I am a massive fan, guys. I really am. Now, Jim, we've kind of met in passing before, but I've never chatted to you, so welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, you're in Scotland a lot, guys, but Jim, you're living in Sicily now, is that right?
Well, I don't quite live there, but certainly over the last 20 years. In fact, Charlie also, he's up the road in Rome. and we went to play in Italy when we were still kids, really, and I think we just really, Charlie and I got into the place, so whenever we're not busy, you can usually find us in that neck of the woods.
It's a fabulous country.
Yes,
I love it. In Rome, it's just wonderful. Now, my wife has been chastising me, bullying me, call it what you will, to take her to Florence. So we're finally going next month.
Oh, great.
Is this going to be a good move for me?
It certainly is.
Yeah?
It certainly is. Charlie, we played, well, we've played there a lot, but we played there about a year and a half ago. They were opening, as though Florence needs a Hard Rock Cafe, but apparently Florence does need a Hard Rock Cafe. And so they had this sort of opening do in the piazza in the middle of town, and lo and behold, Charlie and I were well, the band was invited to play. So yeah, it's your wife is doing the right thing. She's haranguing you to go to.
Well, it's been years in the making, this, and I've finally said, right, okay, so it's all booked. And I thought, I might manage to take in a game, Fiorentino.
That's right.
They're playing away.
Are they away? Yeah.
Unfortunately, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of gigs, one of the most not one of the most memorable gigs you've ever done, but it was a real shock and a surprise and a nice one for me because I was at the launch. Do you remember doing the gig at the Hilton Hotel when Emirates started their flights to Dubai?
Yes.
Nobody knew you guys were there, and it was Viv Lumsden who was hosting it, and all of a sudden the curtain dropped and it was like, ladies and gentlemen, Simple Minds.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? No way.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I think people always ask us, the other day we played in Hyde Park, and the question people ask, what kind of gigs do you like? Do you like the big gigs or the wee gigs or whatever?
What's the biggest gig you've ever played? Because you've played Brazil, you've played stadiums.
It must have been Live Aid in Philadelphia, I think.
Of course.
That was about 100,000, but and then maybe Wembley Stadium, I think, would have been the next one.
Probably, but we enjoy playing them all.
Yes.
We really do. And, you mentioned those ones there. There's been some odd ones as well. But I think our sort of philosophy is if you're any good, you should be able to play them all.
Is there a huge difference, though, being up close and personal at a gig like that one at the Hilton in comparison to Hyde Park or the big ones?
Well, there is, for a production point of view, obviously, and those big ones, quite often it is about the crowd, and our festivals are such, it's, people coming to see all the bands, it's not really your audience, so there's a wee bit more of a challenge, you might say, often at those gigs as well, you don't get a sound check, you're at the mercy of the weather and all that, whereas at your own gig, you're pretty much, you're in control a lot more, but Charlie and I, we played a gig, it was so great. We played a gig earlier this year in Portsmouth. You get things like this, and about 8 rows in, I could see a mate who we grew up with, Goidy.
From Glasgow?
From Glasgow, and I kind of knew Goidy was living there, so I was thinking that the whole day, I wonder if Goidy will be there. And about the third song, and I could see Goidy. And getting the roadie Derek Patterson, who's for Coatbridge and works with get Goidy, and so during the gig we've often got there's a subplot going on in a lot of these gigs that make it even more memorable for us.
Yes, no, I bet. Now, just before we came on today, you said that you spent a wee bit of time with your dad yesterday. You obviously keep in touch. He's still in Glasgow as well. And just tell me the story about the last time you played Brazil, because you're playing again, and your dad came out. And this would have been what, in the late 80s, early 90s?
You're absolutely right. But 89, it was the first time we'd gone to Brazil, and we've been a handful of times since. And in fact, as you said there, our next gig is in 3 weeks' time. We've got about 3 months of touring coming up. and the first gig is in Brazil, and so I was obviously up today, but I came up yesterday to see my dad and that, and spent the day. And he said, "So where are you playing next?" And I said, "Well, we start in Brazil." And he went, "Brazil, and I'm no gone." And I said, "Well, no, this time. You know, you've been a couple of times and all that." And he went, "Ronnie Biggs will be asking for me." And I said, "I don't think Ronnie's still there." And what he was referring to was the fact that the first time we went, obviously we were all looking forward, and actually a pally Charlie and I's come out as well, Rob Clark. Sometimes when we go to these places, we'll bring a pal with us or whatever, you know, just to we still keep in touch with everybody. Anyway, Rob Clark and my dad, they were, we're going to see Ronnie Biggs there in the pub the night before. Everybody was saying, tell Ronnie we're asking for him and all that. But lo and behold, we were in Rio. I think in the car, said to the promoters, "Ronnie Biggs here," and the promoter says, "Oh, aye, Ronnie." You know, Ronnie's pub, all the bands go and see him when they're here. So they did go. In fact, there's more to the story. Billy Sloan was there as well, and you know, Billy Sloan's no slouch when it comes to a photo op.
Yeah.
So Billy was there with the record and stuff. So they all went up. Charlie and I had never met him, but they all went up and get their picture taken with Ronnie. And my dad was saying, "Oh, that's great, Billy." Rob Clark, my dad. "Oh, wait till my pals see this." And all. Billy said, "Oh, your pals will love this." Next day in the Daily Record, just Billy and Ronnie.
He'd been photoshopped out.
You know. So he was on the phone. He said, "Thanks very much. I've told all my pals," and now they're saying, "Where's the evidence and stuff?" So that's Billy Sloan for you. Who needs pals like that?
Yeah, no, I bet. We know all about Billy. Guys, we're going to play the new single right now, which is going to be the Robin Galloway Breakfast Show Record of the Week next week. It's called Blood Diamonds. Just give me a little fill-in on that, Charlie. Tell me about the song.
We finished that this year, actually. We were just working with a guy called Steve Osborne. And we finished that one, and it was an 11th hour scenario, because with a totally different version. And then we decided to kind of give it a complete 180-degree rework, and we were really happy with the result. It was quite poppy, and
no, it's instantly recognisable as Simple Minds, and I mean, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, because it's very 80s, but that is a sound that's really in vogue at the moment.
Well, that's right. I mean, with us, it's like going back to go forward. You know, it's almost coming. It's funny with music, you go around in cycles, but certainly I think I know what you mean, particularly with a sort of keyboard riff, electro keyboard riff, and we're very keen on it.
Yeah, no, it's great. Let's play it just now on the Robin Galloway Breakfast Show. Single of the week next week, new one from Simple Minds. This is Blood Diamonds. And tell me about the album Celebration, because that's on it, and your last song as well, but there's all the classics on there as well.
Well, that's right. Well, I mean, the band's at an interesting phase just now, because we've been touring probably last year. Probably touring more than we have had for the longest time. But in between that, we've kept going with recording the new stuff. And at the same time, there's a new generation coming up that have been coming to the gigs. We can visibly see them.
Really?
For them, we haven't had a compilation for about 10 years. So you're always trying to put together a new package to show new audiences coming along what the story of the band is. And so it's all the songs you would expect to hear, but we felt that we needed a couple of things that were up to date. Now that's easier said than done, because there's a lot of pretty prominent songs on there. But we felt that with Blood Diamonds and another song called Broken Glass Park that are working well in the live set, that we'd managed to bring things up to scratch it as well, and that helps to rejuvenate everything, laying the grounds for a new album that is due to come at some point next year.
A lot of people looking forward to that as well, and the fact that you've managed to keep on top of your game, because it's a long time since you've been together, isn't it? I mean, was it 77? Was it 77?
No,
but still to be coming up with stuff that's fresh and relevant.
Just starting out, Robin.
Yeah.
Just working up ahead of steam.
Well, I've got to thank you on a number of points. One of them being when I was a lowly club DJ working in Ritzy in Aberdeen. If ever the floor emptied, I travelled 12-inch, sorted floor, and that was so ahead of its time, by the way.
Well, thank this man.
Is that right?
Well, no, we were, at that time we worked with a great guy, John Leckie, who's a great producer.
Uh-huh.
And we were very influenced by a lot of krautrock, as they call it, which is the whole sort of
Kraftwerk
electronic,
and
quite electronic sort of movement. And it was like, and I would say I Travel's pretty much, that was where the kind of influence for that came from, because we were really young, touring around Europe, and for us it was like big eye opener, and it was just great to sort of have this kind of a reference to it all, and a bit, and I Travel's very much
Cool as you like, though. What a song! It still sounds really fresh now, but you get that out. And it was at a time when everybody was into disco and hammering Sister Sledge and the likes, and then you get this coming on and fabulous tune.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. Even this week, I can't remember the name, but there's a kid just about to have a hit with a Simple Minds instrumental called "Theme for Great Cities."
Oh, brilliant song from Once Upon. Wasn't it Once Upon a Time?
Sister Feeling's Call.
Oh, is it right? Yeah,
And I mean, that's been a whole side of the band that we could never have imagined, that your kids would come along and we grew up with rock bands, and we wanted to be a rock band. We wanted to be a great live band, but at the same time, we liked dance music. In fact, both Charlie's brother in our scheme, Charlie and I grew up in Tory Glen. And Charlie's brother Jamie, he was the one that had the Dylan albums and the Doors and Genesis and all that stuff, Roxy Music, who Bowie, who obviously influenced us. But his other brother John was into Motown and black music and stuff. And at the time we couldn't really get it, but we got to get it. And I think I can say this because I'm not a musician, but one of the greatest things for me playing with all the guys, all the different lineups of Simple Minds, is that the expanse of the music, being able in one hand to play rhythmic stuff and electro dance in one hand, and then the other to be able to play the sort of stadium fillers, is I think testimony the class of the musicians.
No doubt about it. It's a tremendous back catalogue. We play a little game on the show called Beat the Clock, and it's all about identifying intros of songs. Bung your headphones on just now. I want you to play along, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Charlie's going to win.
Can you? Charlie's going to win. So it's Jim against Charlie. First person to identify the song wins. And I'll give you a clue. They're all Simple Minds songs.
Jim will definitely win this.
We don't listen to them then. So if you played Bowie ones or something, we would both be in there.
Is that right?
But anyway.
Okay, here we go. Here's the first one.
All the things you said.
is right. 1-0 Charlie. Next. Warfront.
Oh, he's running away with it. Charlie's up early in the morning than me.
By the way, if I was in Simple Minds, this would be my ringtone. That's just like what a song. Okay, here's the next one.
Alive and Naked.
Oh, it's one each. It's one each. And let's see if you get this one. I hope you get this one. Here we go.
Blood Diamonds.
Yes.
Who got that first?
That was two each.
Was it 2 each?
It's a draw, guys. Thanks for coming in. That was absolutely brilliant. You could be on for hours on end. And hang on, gigs to plug. 27th November. You're going to be at the Hydro, and we're going to film this. We're not going to film it, but you're going to film it for a DVD.
Well, we are. We're really excited on both counts. Obviously, the new venue in Glasgow, and everyone's excited about that. But for us, we started in the Mars Bar, and we've come up through whatever venues Glasgow has thrown our way. But I think finally we've got a venue that we can all be proud of.
Oh, very much. I mean, you've driven past it. You've seen how it's coming on. It's incredible.
Listen.
So we start it's the first of our British dates there. But for us, it's we made a live in concert in 1989 in Verona in Italy.
I remember it. Yeah.
And all through the years, we were so happy with that all through the years we've sort of put off trying to beat it in a way. But fans have been calling it for a live in concert, a new one. And we felt, well, Glasgow being a new venue, being the place, being the first night of the tour, it's got to be special. Charlie and I's a wee bit worried about seeing our wrinkles up close, HD.
HD.
You know, so we
Shoot it in soft focus.
we might borrow those helmets for Daft Punk.
Yeah, I think you should.
And if you see us jumping up it with them, you'll know why.
Well, we'll all be there for the homecoming. It's going to be fantastic. Jim and Charlie, thank you. An absolute honour to have you on the show.
Thanks.
Cheers,
a lot,
guys.
thanks.